Diane, I'm listening to a podcast, Black Lodge Trivia Night. I've never heard so many game aspirations in my life.
Magic and move this to the back.
Or something. Yeah.
So anyway, that's when I took the lance to the boil that was on the end of my... Hello, everybody. And welcome to Black Lodge Trivia Night, where we light candles occasionally.
I'm unprepared.
And you're unprepared. I think I'm the only one that's correctly prepared, and my wife's probably going to bang on the door again because I have a candle lit in my office. But occasionally we light candles. We talk about crab pots, lobster pots. Patrick drinks champagne on camera. Matt has a green dick behind his head. And Art, how much beet juice do you want to take today?
I'm going to need all of it to fully enjoy what we're doing this evening. At Ticket.
Yeah, so hey, welcome to Black Lodge Trivia Night. Tonight we're playing Symbaroum. Great opening, Patrick. I feel like it's been a while since you've done the open, and it was masterful. It was beautiful. I can't believe it's like a year straight that I forget to bring a lighter down. This candle is just begging to be lit down here.
I mean, it's not the only thing that I light in my office. Hey.
Do you light the fires in my loins?
No, I don't actually light anything else in my office.
Too many boils.
So many boils. So many things that have to be lanced.
So
do you guys
tonight,
remember Lance Armstrong? That was a thing. He lanced something and laced some things.
Hello, welcome to Black Lodge Trivia Night. I am Matt, and with me is Art and Patrick. No, tonight we're playing Symbaroum. It's been long teased. I don't know. I mean, we've teased this for months and months. Art's camera's frozen on a very unfortunate picture of him. There you go. It cycled back around.
Nice.
Basically, it was that. And before we hit the record button and went hot into this, because I was kind of talking about just a little bit nervous.
So talk us through that. Why is that?
The last homebrew I ran is not including anything that like my wife and I messed around with, like a little bit of vampire stuff. Has been years. I've been a couple of years. So everything's either been like a Pathfinder. Everything we've played on here, I think, has been either a rules light homebrew or a published scenario. So the guardrails are off tonight for Symbaroum.
That's exciting. I know because we talked about it in our session 0 that there was going to be some homebrewing, but to have it be enough to cause agita is more than I sort of thought it was going to be. So I'm kind of excited with what that might mean. Well,
I mean, it could be a hot disaster. I was explaining the plot to my wife last night, and she was getting into it. So I'm pretty, I just hope we can execute. I'm also not like, I'm not a huge prepper, It's just, if you guys expect the polish of Pathfinder, that's not going to be here because this is me. But
we just fuck it. We do it live, man. It's going to be fine.
We do it live. Also, since this isn't a published scenario, look, we've been pretty good about like, I'm just going to come out and say, I've used a lot of AI art for this. I wanted the setting to come through. So it is what it is. That's it.
Well,
all right.
If that's not your thing, listen to the podcast version, I guess.
But I was about to say, of our 7 people that follow and subscribe us, we just lost 2. So
That's right.
Pour one out, boys.
But we just gained 2 Twitter bots.
Fucking handy for RPGs.
It really is. I mean, my character's 100% AI.
Where it makes sense, I love supporting. Like I love supporting artists. Obviously, I wasn't going to pay anyone for art anyways for this type of thing. Like I would have just ripped something off Google for give me a snowy mountain pass, But we're here, and it's gonna be great. It's cool. What are you guys hoping to get out of Symbaroum, huh?
I mean, if we don't die in the first 15 minutes, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Could be a possibility.
Yeah, rerolling characters is something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
No, I mean, again, mostly the dark fantasy setting. I'm looking forward to. I don't care too much what the mechanics are. I'm excited to try the mechanics. I think they could be quite interesting, but I'm just excited to jump into a story, like a dark fantasy story, and see what happens. Whether or not it goes off the rails is not important.
The thing I'm most looking forward to, again, besides purveying the depths of Matt's mind here, and taking a film critic's eye to it. No, I haven't played a wizard, and I don't know if I've ever played a wizard character. So this is going to be totally off the rails, and I'm not going to know what to do with myself after I've shot my 4 shots, and probably just going to get eaten by whatever lives in these woods. It's going to be great.
Amazing. Before we get too far, Art, I think we have some business to take care of.
Yeah, you ready for some trivia?
I am ready.
All right. Okay. Let me see. Here we go. Season 1, pilot episode. In the pilot, there is a video of Donna and Laura having a picnic and goofing around in the woods. Dale Cooper finds out about this video, and he wants to know who shot it. Do you remember who shot the video?
No.
Her dad? I don't know.
I don't.
Let me know. Final answer is no idea, or do you want to take a stab?
David Lynch, because he's the director.
But oh my gosh, what's not Audrey? What's the other girl's name? Oh my gosh. You know who I'm talking about. Mike's girlfriend. The one that James...
from the diner?
No. God, who's just the other girl, the other high school girl?
I can't recall.
The doctor's daughter.
Charlene Fenn.
It's obviously not her.
I was about to say
that's Donna. The doctor's daughter is Donna, I thought.
Yeah, Donna. Thanks.
Yeah, and she's in the video with Laura, and
James shoots the video then.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you asked who was in the video with Laura and James. I'm sorry.
No.
I think James shoots the video.
Yeah, the correct answer is James shoots the video.
Yeah.
As a follow-up, do you recall who Donna tells Coop shot the video? This is a little of a deep cut.
Donna tells Coop her cousin?
All right. Patrick, do you have a guess?
No.
Okay. Donna tells Coop that a passing hiker shot the video.
That's right, yeah.
They asked the hiker if he or she would mind filming them. And Dale Cooper figures out she's lying. Do you remember the clue that tips him off that that's not true?
You see James' reflection in something?
And Patrick, do you have a guess?
Yeah, that seems legit. I'm gonna.
Or either James said something or there was a reflection.
You're basically right. Basically, Coop, for no reason whatsoever, the camera really zooms in on Laura Palmer's eye.
Yeah.
And in her eye, there's a reflection of James's motorcycle.
Yeah. Yeah. Something. I knew it was fucking James' fault.
Yeah, he ruins everything. He's the worst. But having said that, so there you go. That is tonight's trivia.
Love it. Well done as always, Art.
Cross that one off the list.
Good. Okay. I guess we should do it. Like I said, this could just be a complete and hot disaster, but I think it's going to be good. I hope it's going to be good. We're going to fuck around and find out. And neither of you have played this, right? I have played, so we're going to brush off some, hopefully we'll see some simple mechanics tonight, and we're going to set the tone for what is to come. And start exploring our little world and meeting some of our characters. All right. Anything before we get going?
I'm scared.
And I'm going to give you guys a chance to set your characters and stuff up. Just know that that's coming. So.
Got it.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Can't wait to play Star Trek Adventures.
In a galaxy. In the abyss. In absolute darkness.
Hey, Matt. Can't hear you, buddy.
At all?
No.
No, it's too low.
What's too low? Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't hear a word you said.
Not a single thing that you just said.
I don't know if you have a noise gate on your thing, but yeah, like you didn't come through at all.
What the hell? Oh, good.
Take 2.
Yeah. I should be coming in clear.
Get up right on there, man.
No, I'm pretty good where I need to be. I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, fucking.
That couldn't have come at him. That was perfect. Thank you, Matt.
glad to be of fucking service. Damn. So you guys got that right?
Nope.
Okay.
Too bad.
He's not doing it again.
No, I am. All right, take 2. Here we go. Restart the music. I want the
space. The final.
So you missed my whole galaxy comment too?
Yeah.
Oh man. What the hell? All right.
Perfect.
Mood.
Welcome to Trainwreck Games.
Yeah. Playing Trick Takers tonight, right? Oh my god, we've teased this fucking game for months.
We're gonna tease it for
like
at least
10
another
minutes.
10
We're
minutes.
like milking it like every last possible second. Okay, here we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. In the abyss, in absolute darkness, was the spark which gave hope to the world, the spark which in the care of we Ambrians will make Prios blaze as never before. In the southern reaches of the Ravens, just north of the marshes, where a duke rules over rolling hills, a snow-packed mountain pass climbs as if ascending to be received by Prios himself. Find 3 characters marching upon a winter pass. The wind is howling. There's a fog. It is cold. Your characters are familiar with this pass. Several months ago, you first ascended this pass, or for one of you, maybe it was several years ago. But you know that this pass eventually winds to Kloster Umberholt. Kloster Umberholt sits about 2 to 3 weeks march north of Yardaros, which is another 5 days north of the stronghold of the Twilight Friars. Now, you gentlemen are part of the Twilight Friars, but this particular group of the Twilight Friars, whereas the Twilight Friars point their knives inwards on the Ambrians, you collect intelligence, you hunt in the dark for whatever threats might come to Ambria. Why don't we go ahead and we'll go back over here. A brief introduction to both of your characters. Art, why don't you go first?
Yeah, no problem. I will be playing Ebril, and I come from a sort of a merchant class kind of family. I'm the 3rd son, and so therefore I wasn't going to be much use as far as inheritance. But then, as a child, became gravely ill, and the sickness left me badly disfigured. And so I wasn't going to be much use marrying off either. So my parents sort of abandoned me to the Church of Prios as a child. The only one in my family that really didn't sort of cringe or look away or, sort of push me away was my eldest brother. And he was the only one in the family that made me feel accepted. And after I left and went to the church, I got word that he went on a military campaign and had gone missing. And I feel I owe it to him to either, on the small chance he's still alive, find him, and if not that, at least learn of his fate and somehow honor his memory.
Excellent. And how long ago did you join the Twilight Friars?
Let me see. We're pretty young, right?
We are pretty young. And so did you, I guess, you don't know, I guess, what time we are in the story yet, but
right.
Assuming that you joined at the age you are now, meaning you were not raised there.
Okay, so yeah, I guess then, well, I'm 18 now, so I've probably been there for at least a few years. Maybe when I was 15, when my family realized I wasn't going to be much use, and people were starting to get to that sort of marrying age where you start handing people off and making deals. So yeah, it's been a few years since I first got here. And in that time, I did my thing, and I started to try and earn a place with the sort of the prior of our order. And that got sabotaged by a fellow person at the order named Grenlow.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, I've just sort of been trying to make my way in the church.
Patrick.
Yes.
Tell us about Yorick.
So I will be playing Yorick Blackscript. So I am a symbolist, or kind of new learning through that skill as a young man. I don't know much about my parents or kin, because at an early age I showed kind of an aptitude for creating magical symbols and using them. And so the Church of Prios and the Twilight Friars kind of went around in that Hellboyish-esque kind of way and, stole children away from their homes. So I am... I was stolen as a young child, maybe not a baby, but 2 or 3 years old, ripped away from my parents, and I've been kind of raised in Kloster Umberholt since that time. It's the only home that I really know and remember. I remember a blurry kind of face of my mother and father, but really all of my family that I would consider family and friends would be the other kind of weird kids at Kloster Umberholt, because they keep us kind of out from, we're not on the main tour when people come through, right? They keep us behind the kitchen kind of thing. Most of my affection and hatred at the Kloster are directed towards Maester Ringgold, who is, in fact, his title is Keeper of the Stolen Children. And so that's me. And I am, constantly fiddling with totems and tchotchkes and random things and bits and bobs that I've picked up and turning them into more, kind of symbolist cantrips or symbolist totems, right? So that's me.
Amazing. This mountain path that you guys are on, although treacherous, has, for the past 5 years, Kloster Umberholt is actually a relatively recent addition to the ranks of the Twilight Friars. The only stone building is a stone watchtower and the church itself, which is built into the icy mountain face. For the past 5 years, it's been well traveled by Prios's most devout and loyal subjects. Brothers and sisters both. Ambrians, barbarians, any of those young, devoted individuals who have committed their lives to serving the sun god. As I mentioned, there's 3 of you. There's 3 fur-clad soldiers on this mountain pass. And leading the way is Sister Frida. Her snow-white furs flap in the breeze, and she leans upon her scythe as she ascends. And she pauses, and she turns back, and she looks at you, and you can just see sorrow on her face. And she presses on. For both of you, you last ascended this pass maybe a year or so ago. And you know that it is still several hours before you reach the Kloster. Sister Fried in front of you straightens in the snow. Her raven black hair is powdered with snowflakes. She sits down upon a log that is covered with 6 to 8 inches of snow. She brushes it away. Prios. His radiance may not always warm your path. Heaven knows his light these past few months. And she looks up at both of you, and that look of sorrow comes back. And we cut to Kloster Umberholt, and it's spring. And it's the morning of spring, and you find each other, Yarick, Eberl, standing in a large courtyard. And at the front of this courtyard, up on a raised platform, is the friar. He's in charge of Kloster Umberholt. And around you are about 5 or 6 other young, new members of the Twilight Friars. Or at least this particular group of the Twilight Friars. And he raises his hands as if calling for a response. And he shouts out, he says, "The shadows stir." And kind of nervously, you both look around, and you see some of the instructors, some of the guards, some of the people around, the people have been here for a while. They shout in unison, and Prios watches. Yarick, you're still learning the chants and responses. And as you look around nervously, you feel a presence come up behind you. It's a presence you felt many times before, and a chill goes down your spine. And what we see is, I just gotta bring this in. Master Ringgold. And he stands so close behind you, you can smell and feel his breath upon you. Eberl, you don't notice. You have been studying the chants and responses, and know them like the back of your hand. Patrick, what's Yarick doing?
Maester? And I'll say that kind of under my breath and like nervously kind of side-eye him.
And before you can kind of turn around, again, the friar raises his hand. There's some kind of welcoming speech or morning prayers that are going on, maybe more appropriate. And he calls out, "Where darkness festers," and your brothers and sisters around you clamor out, "The light must pierce." But Yarick, you haven't studied the responses yet. And Master Ringwald takes his walking stick and he wraps it around your left foot. Go ahead and give me a quick check.
Oh, great. Excellent.
Nice. Get right into it.
A quick check, you said?
A quick check.
Boop.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Failed with a result margin of -7. Okay, here we go.
As his walking stick gets tangled in your feet, you fall into the mud. Your face just kerplat. Some of the other brothers and sisters look around you. You turn and you see Master Ringwald, and you can just see his smirk. Right? I mean, he is taking so much joy in watching you squirm.
Yeah.
And he starts to offer you a hand, and he crouches down next to you right before he pulls you up. From the dirt and mud you come, and that's where you belong. And then he stands up and offers you a hand.
And I'll, take a bunch of mud off my face and slap it on the ground, and with my muddy hand, I'll grab his hand. Aye, Maester. But you'll be there with me at some point.
Nice.
Hmm.
And the friar, as you say that, shouts, "The truth is aflame," and everyone in unison, including Yarick and Eberl, both of you, those who hide in shadow shall be burned. And we cut back to the mountain pass. You're all sitting, Sister Fried. I'll get you back on this page. Brothers, we ought to rest. We still have several hours before we reach the Kloster. Several hours before sunrise. I will take first watch. You both get sleep.
Thank you, sister. And we start to make camp.
Yeah. I'll take a long look at the sister. Is she, can I tell, how long have we known Sister Frida?
You have known Sister Frida for 3 months.
Does she, okay, that's long enough, probably. Is she more winded than usual at this point? Or is she visibly injured or anything?
No.
Or we're just tired?
She sees the fatigue. You get the impression that she's taking this rest for your benefit.
Okay. All right. Sister Frida.
Yes.
Should we light a fire?
And she listens on the wind for a little bit. I will keep watch. Stay as warm as you can. I do not think a fire would be safe at this time.
Aye, sister. And I'll bed down.
Okay. Are either of you able to catch much sleep? Or do you think it comes to how do you think your characters individually handle a frigid night? There's no cover around. As you can see, there's sparse coverage. Maybe you try to take cover in some of these trees, but
I think Yarick probably puts his back up against the stump on the left there, and just kind of leans back against it and nestles down as best as he can. I feel like Yara can fall asleep anywhere. He's a life at the Kloster has not been. There's no feather mattresses at the Kloster, right? I plop down, brush the snow off, and just down.
Nice. Yeah, Eberl, what I do is you mentioned the trees, so maybe one of these pines has a little bit of space underneath it, and I follow suit, but I put my back up against the trunk, and I'm grateful that the branches keep some of the snow off of me, and then I take my hooded cloak, which is usually there to sort of help hide my disfigurement. I'm deeply ashamed of it, but in this case it helps. I sort of wrap it around, and I take out my clay pipe, and I start puffing, and that helps keep me warm a little bit, and I realize I'm actually not going to be able to sleep. And so I just sort of stare off down the pass and play with the figurine that my brother gave me on the day that I was being dumped at the church, and smoke a pipe and just try and stay warm.
Excellent.
Question for you, Art, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Are Yarick and Abrel, are we friends? Like, have we known each other for a while?
So my understanding is you would have been there before I was, since you came much younger. So the question is, did you want to sort of accept the severely disfigured person that a lot of people sort of ostracized?
I think if you can get past the weird, like, fetishes that I keep on me and also have, then, well, yeah, I would have been like, oh, here, let me bring you into the fold.
Well, if it's okay to ask, would those fetishes, have ostracized you to some degree, or
100%?
Okay, so maybe we're birds of a feather in that regard.
We're two fucking weirdos.
Nice. I love it. You guys have also been traveling together the last 3 months. Sister Freed, the last 3 months. And we'll get in, which means this is in the future from that initiation day or I guess that wasn't initiation day. That was morning prayers early on.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
Ebril, you think as you palm the figurine and, you know, perhaps you risk a smoke on your pipe, you hear Yarick's soft snoring, and it becomes sort of like a melody. It helps rest, and maybe before you realize you do, although fitfully, you might start to drift off just a little bit. And we're back in the Kloster. And there we find ourselves in the study of Friar Wilhelm. Friar Wilhelm is different than the friar. Friar Wilhelm is sort of the librarian, if you will, of the Kloster. He says, Ebril, you mustn't let him get under your skin like this. I know you were poised for great things, and it is unfortunate, but...
And, you said Wilhelm, was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, brother Wilhelm, you're right. You're not wrong. But this has been the path of my whole life. Just an outside force unfairly undercutting me before I even have a chance to see what I could have been. And I'm sort of half gesturing at my scars as I say that. And I'm like, Grenlow's had every advantage.
And Grenlow and men like Grenlow will continue to have advantages. That does not matter. Prios shall bless you, brother. And he pulls back your hood, and he kind of like traces the mark of the sun on your scars. And it's not a perfect, but it's something that he's spoken to you before, and you know it helps calm you. And just as he's doing that, Yarick, you kind of burst into the library, and you're there to fetch Ebril. And what are you guys going to get up to?
Ebril. They're letting us out for once. I think we're on firewood gathering duty.
And I turn to Brother Wilhelm, and I'm like, with your leave?
Make sure the Jakars do not get you.
Of course. And I tail out after Yarick.
Before we head out, like as we're in the courtyard or like by the side of the gatehouse, I'm like, Ebril, hold on, I'll grab your arm. Like, I've got something for you.
Yeah, of course. What is it?
And I'll dig into my, like, again, fetishes just like clanking and banging off of each other. And I'll pull out, like, I know your brother made you one, and this one's probably not as good. But I'll hand you another, like, little figurine soldier. I'm like, from one friend to another. May Prios watch over you, brother. It's very crude, but it was an honest to God attempt.
Yeah, and I'm maybe more touched than I would expect.
Yeah.
Because this is the one kind gesture from my brother that I've been shown. And so to have somebody want to extend that gesture a second time, it just doesn't happen to me. And so I'm genuinely moved.
I'll slap you on the back and be like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, and I sort of, I'm trying not to let anything show.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I tried to put, that one's a little bit of a dud. I tried to put some symbols into it. It may go off at some point. Just, if it lasts longer than 4 hours, call your local medico. But, otherwise it's really, it's for you. So.
It's genuinely appreciated.
That afternoon, you hunt, or you gather firewood, and you venture, a break from the Kloster is welcomed by both of you. And as you gather, you hear some twigs snap, and then you hear the howl of a Jakar. Now, a Jakar is like a canine. It is essentially a wolf in Symbaroum. And you both look at each other. But then quickly, Eberl, you awake with a start. And you realize that the call is not from your dream. The howl of the Jakar is from the sole Jakar standing about 10 yards up the pass. And as you gather your bearings, Yark has not stirred yet, and Sister Frida is nowhere to be seen.
Oh. Okay. So I sort of stir awake a little bit because maybe I heard it, and then I'm suddenly realizing what I'm looking at. And I go from like a little, sleepy-eyed to on point in a heartbeat. And I sort of maybe push back against the tree trunk a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Out of fear, but then I realize, how close is it to Yarrick?
It's probably about 10 to 15 yards away from both of you.
Okay. So I need to try and figure out, am I allowed to do a beast lore check?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
So let's see. I'm a novice.
Okay. Let's tell us about that. So that's an ability of yours, right?
Yes. So there's a number of abilities you get when you create your character. There's an option to get like 2 at a novice level and 1 at an adept. I chose the option to take 5 at the novice level.
I think, Patrick, you did the same thing, right?
You did 5. I did 5 novice level things.
Yeah. I sort of spread myself out, but just went a little thin. Yeah.
That makes sense because we're trained children, basically. Like,
yeah. But yeah, basically this gives me, it says I'm schooled in the lore of beasts and knows the secrets of most monsters. Most monsters possess a special ability, but at the novice level, says the character has studied monsters and can make a cunning test to recognize or recollect a monster's strengths and weaknesses. So it's going to be a cunning test.
Okay.
Now, is there...
let's see, a Jakar... I think you'll take a modifier here of... Let's just make it a flat roll.
Just a flat roll?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Now, my cunning is a 13.
Right.
And I succeed with an 11, which gives me a result margin of 2, which can be useful.
Yeah, so a Jakar is known... Like, you're familiar. Some of it is a little bit of a boogeyman for the camp, but all kinds of creatures. And honestly, of the things that you have been preparing for and the things that you have heard rumors of, this is no worse than those rumors, but they should still be respected. And a wild Jakar is nothing to be messed with or taken lightly. And real quick, my Adobe is giving me fits real fast. Well, it's making me sign in. I don't.
Oh, for like the PDF stuff?
Yeah. I'm going to try to.
That's why I recommend.
There we go. Now, anyways, I opened it in Chrome. We're good. So.
That's why I recommend Sumatra PDF. It's a free program that you can view, and it's stripped down and is very easy to use and doesn't use all sorts of resources on your computer. Sumatra PDF.
Thank you for that plug. I expect to see the sponsorship money soon. So like Jakars can be used by barbarian tribes. They are ferocious. They are fierce. And you also know that they often hunt in a pack. And they constantly try to surround and outnumber one individual so they can outflank them.
Ooh, and so can I tell from its movements, is it aware of me, or does it seem like the one it's trying to encircle is a sleeping Yarrick?
It circles onto the path, and it paces there back and forth for a moment, and it never takes its eyes off you. And then
off of me.
Off of you, Eberl. Okay. And it lets out a howl that splits through the howling wind. Does Yarrick wake yet?
Yeah, I think the howl would wake Yarrick up.
That second howl?
Yeah.
And you see it. You see him. And you maybe, because you guys did not fall asleep right next to each other, right?
Yeah. I think I'm across the street, basically, from him.
Okay. And you get its profile glance, Patrick.
Okay.
Eberl, you recall what you know, and you pivot about 180 degrees. And sure enough, recalling your knowledge, a Jakar does not hunt alone. To get my image to work right, I had to make it like a foreground image, so like I've got to, which is a weird.
Put them off to the side there.
I can't bring them more forward than my my splash page image, so we gotta. I'll have to mess around with that next time.
Tokenize.
So, gentlemen, shall we learn some combat?
Shall we TPK?
Yes, I can't wait to be eaten by 2 wolves.
So how combat works in this game is initiative is based off of quick. Uh-oh.
I may have made a mistake in my dump stat.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
And you know what I didn't? I should have messed around with the combat settings. So, Eberl, what's your quickness?
My quickness is a 9.
Oh, okay, cool.
Your quickness is a 10.
Right, but because of light armor, it's a 9.
Oh, it doesn't modify your... Got it. I missed your armor. It doesn't... I only see the main... there it is. I see it now. Yep.
Yeah, I assume that would be what was brought into the combat tracker if you wanted to...
That'll be interesting because I think I'll be a 7 with my armor because I'm a 9 to start.
The Jakars circle you. This will be interesting. And the 2 from behind, as maybe you guys kind of like slowly close ranks, perhaps. But you're still on opposite sides of the path here. they lunge out. So, Ebril, from in front of you, you just drop your light armor. You just get rid of it. You just
no, I wanted it to be robes, because robes. So light armor. There's a difference between a robe has a specific sort of and it's not working the way I thought. Robes have a specific quality to them where they do not inhibit you in the same way as strict light armor. So I was just trying to figure that out really quickly.
Okay.
Oh, it's flexible or whatever, right?
Exactly. It's flexible. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Nice. Are you set? Because you'll probably need your defense here skill in a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, I'm set.
Okay. So the one in front kind of maintains its pace. It's just pacing back and forth. You think maybe it's just waiting for a moment to get you encircled, but kind of the largest of the three charges forward. And how combat works from my perspective is you guys will make defense rolls.
Right. That's something I find very interesting about this system, is that it's basically puts all the rolling onto the players.
Yep. And so when you guys attack, you will attack and just roll modified by their defense, unless you have some kind of skill. But you're going to roll accurate versus defense. And in this case, you will be rolling defense modified by their accurate. So.
Right.
So it kind of lunges forward using its action, and then it attacks.
Okay. So let's see. I'm going to be let's see. Speed save accurate. Okay, so I'm going to be rolling. Sorry,
light armor check, basically.
See,
yeah. Now, is there any modifiers, anything like that?
So what's your defense?
So it looks like my defense is sorry, I'm trying to figure out. So where would that be on the character sheet? I see next to my light armor, it's got a quickness now of 11 because I fixed the flexibility.
If you click on light armor itself, it will use everything it'll give you all the correct modifiers.
Right. I can't tell what the number. I have the roll box, but I don't know what the base number is.
Well, I'm sure we could back into it, but for now, the important thing is you're going to be modified by a -3.
Okay. Here we go. Rolling.
Oh, no.
Failed. Oh, man. A result margin of -12. So apparently I was working with an 8.
Okay.
So I start with an 11, which is my armor quickness. Yeah, I blew that badly.
You did. And so the Jakar lunges forward, and I need an attack roll for them. What kind of armor are you wearing, Art?
Light armor, which is a 1d4 protection. I guess it does my protection roll automatically, and I rolled a 4. Maybe it took pity on me after I blew the defense roll so badly.
Okay, so I think it's just fixed. It's going to do 3 points of damage.
Okay.
With a protection of 4, does that get
so then
out?
That will be, you're going to roll 1d4.
Right, I rolled a 4.
Yeah, it does it. It bakes it into the roll.
Oh, nice. I see down there. Okay, very good. Nice. So,
thank God for armor.
Good. Thank God for armor.
Praise be unto Prios for
Prios
armor.
Prios warms your spirits tonight. What happens, Art? So I did want to comment on this because it's got in this system that defense is both dodging and blocking. So I guess if it gets through to your armor, I guess it's your armor. But anyways, the defense roll is all inclusive, which I know you don't like.
I like that the armor negates damage. That's as long as that's how armor works.
Okay,
I'm halfway there. I'm good.
Half jump.
So it sort of maybe takes a bite at me and it sort of lunges and I get my arm up and it locks on, but I'm able to sort of shake it off before it really gets through the robes and draw blood.
Nice. Patrick, the other one, as simultaneously charges forward.
All
and
right.
it lunges and it bites down.
-3 as well?
Yeah, -3.
Perfect.
Oh.
All right.
This one will do 2 points of damage. How does it get through?
So I think I have a protection of 1, so I'm only going to take 1, correct?
No, so you'll take 3 minus 1, you're taking 2.
Gotcha. And that goes into my current?
Yep.
Cool. So I think as I'm like waking up, maybe it's advancing and lunging towards me. And maybe I grab like a fistful of snow or something. Yeah, I grab a fistful of snow and like sling it in its direction, and that confuses it just enough where instead of getting my, ripping my fucking throat out, it maybe it gets a piece of my leg instead, redirects down to my leg and takes a nice bite of my shin. Is how I'm seeing that.
Nice. Amazing. We'll go over to Eberl. I love that your first defensive tactic was to throw a snowball. Amazing.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. Art, over to Eberl.
All right.
So, as for listeners, we'll do rules live, baby, but you get a movement action and a combat action in this game.
Right.
And movement is that means drawing your weapon, disengaging, moving, flanking.
Pretty open-ended.
Yeah. All inclusive there. So, what's Eberl going to do?
So, what Eberl's going to do, he probably doesn't need to really move too much to close the distance. So, he's going to attack. So, now, I guess I had a parrying dagger that I could have... Well, anyway. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go for an attack.
Okay.
And I'm armed with a fencing sword, and swords in this game weapons have certain qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a precise weapon, which means it can be used in certain ways. And one of the ways it can be used is I have a talent called Sword Saint. And so what this lets me do is it lets me, when I'm using a precise sword, such as a fencing sword, I do 1d10 damage instead of the typical 1d8.
Oh,
so that's
you fancy boy.
Yeah, so that's one thing. And I thought there was something else I did that allowed me to... Okay, so the character, because I also have a feint quality, that allows me to attack with discreet instead of accurate when the attack is made with a melee weapon, which is either short or precise, such as my fencing sword. Now, here's the thing. It says, also, every such attack gains the same advantage as if the opponent was surprised.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, I don't know if this is something I need to, like, roll against like, if I have to do some kind of check to see if they figure out what I'm up to, or if it's...
If you click novice, it'll tell you what you need to do.
Yeah, it just says the character can choose to attack with discreet instead of accurate. Also, every such... It just says... It doesn't specifically say...
Does it say... What is the... I can't read it from on the screen there. When you're in novice, does it say it's active?
It's passive.
Okay,
so I guess it's just...
I think it's just always there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a little bit of a sword dancer, right?
Yeah.
You know, wasn't your first
I
character
was gonna say this is fucking
in
Pathfinder.
This is just like
Here comes
Pathfinder.
the
but
TPK.
he died, so
You're
it's
right.
okay.
Brutally. Yeah, so I am going to maybe I just sort of sweep some snow into its face.
And so you're gonna get a +2 on your discreet check, but before you roll that, you will be modified by its defense.
Right.
Which is going to net you. Oh my. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong thing. Oh shit. It's like, good God, you guys are.
You're dead.
Yeah, that was gonna be. That is not what you are fighting right now, at all.
And for the listener, advantage and disadvantage is not what you would get from Dungeons and Dragons. Here it's a +2 advantage, -2 advantage. The advantage of D&D is called favor or disfavor, and I think it's almost never used. There's only a few instances I remember from the rulebook.
Nice. Okay, Art. You will get a -1 modifier.
Okay, -1. Here we go. I'm going to roll it now. My discreet is a 15. It's the stat I put the highest number into.
Nice. Oh shit.
So I rolled a 10, which gave me a result margin of 4. So I succeeded.
Yeah.
You succeed.
Yes, and again, because of my Sword Saint, I roll a 1d10 for damage instead of... yeah. So now I just got to figure out... I just roll that. Oh, I could have just clicked the whole... Oh, I see. I could have clicked the weapon.
I would have done the whole thing.
Would have done the whole thing. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to roll a 1d10 just because I don't know how it works when you don't do the whole thing built in. So I rolled a 9.
9.
Damn.
Nice. Okay. You will connect for 7 points of damage, and you find a very tender and meaty and fleshy and gory and bloody part of this beast. Tell me what it looks like. It does not go down completely.
Yeah, so like as I stab into it, you know, the fur sort of tears away like near its ribs, and I feel it sort of slip through the bone. So I know I know I got something.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just doing a clean jerk back, I sort of try and rip it down and do whatever damage I can on the way out. And some blood starts to pour from the wound and melts in the snow at its feet and puts up a little steam.
It howls in pain, and we cut over to Yarick.
So Yarick, I'm bleeding from my shin, and probably cursing in common, I guess. But do you guys know that character? You've seen The Mummy. All of us have seen The Mummy.
Mm-hmm.
You know the character that has all of the religious symbols around his neck? The guy
Yeah.
He's
like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm doing. Like,
nice.
Trying to grab, like, I'm pulling up different fetishes and, like, things are jangling. I finally find, like, my best looking Prios symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And I scream, Brother Ebril, shield your eyes.
Shit. We gonna see some abilities here.
We're gonna fucking dunk on it right from the very fucking beginning.
I love it.
So, and I hold it, and like you smell or you hear just the slight sizzling of flesh as I hold this sun symbol.
Oh shit.
I holler, Prios' light be upon thee, and I'll use a blinding symbol.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
So that is the target closest to me, so Shin Biter.
Okay.
Takes a resolute versus resolute test, which resolute is my highest skill.
Okay.
And
yeah, no, keep going.
So once that is successful, we go to the next one, and then we just keep going until somebody fails. And that glow, if I could get my character sheet to not fucking disappear off of my sheet. There we go. So it just keeps going until somebody passes, but everybody that fails is blinded for one turn. So here's the first resolute test.
Let me pull up your... So you are going...
Blinding symbol.
You're going blinding symbol. You will be modified by their resolute.
Yes.
They have a +1.
Perfect. So let's do that by 1. And here's the first roll. There's a 14 with a successful margin of 2, a result margin of 2.
Amazing.
And again, if I'm reading this correctly, the attempt is made to blind the next enemy, and so on until a test fails.
Amazing. Okay.
So there's only one other wolf so far. So here's another resolute test at +1.
Yep. Oh, baby.
And that is a margin
you rolled
of
a
15.
Hell yeah, this is so different than Pathfinder.
Oh, it's so good. Are there any other enemies that I should be
the
aware
third
of?
wolf. The third wolf who was using
right.
mechanics and was saving his action.
So that is, again, another resolute with a +1. This is great.
Nice.
And that's a result margin of 11. So just so you know, Art, I have 3 of these, and then I have to fucking like cool down for an hour. So this is one of my 3
You're taking corruption, right?
So yeah, it's 1 temporary corruption.
Yes. What does your shadow look like? Like, I know Art couldn't see it, but if you're okay sharing it, like, what does your shadow look like as you do this? Which,
so,
by the way, folks, like, the shadow, I think, is such a cool... I wish it was, like, more obvious, but every character and every creature has the shadow among them, and usually you need, like, witch side or something to see it, but go on, Patrick.
So I hear a buzzing in my ear as I use this, and I see just out of the corner of my eye, maybe in one of the trees, just a deep amber glow start to come and just start kind of dripping down the tree bark. And just as I use Prios's light, I see, maybe I see just a catch a ray coming through the clouds. Maybe the sun pokes out for just a moment. But the shadow, that beautiful golden honey drip coming down the tree, just gets the slightest tinge of green, this just slightly disgusting, maybe instead of honey colored, it turns to this slightly rot color as it kind of drips down. Maybe instead of honey, it's fungal looking as it comes down the tree. I shake my eye out of that.
Interesting. Should we peel back what that reveals, or no?
Go ahead. No, please.
No. So and maybe it's okay if it'll make sense if this is okay with what it is in just a few moments. But typically, when you have someone from society is going to have like a copper, a gold, or a silver,
right.
But yours is corrupted. And maybe it's a corroded honey, which means maybe, I don't know, I think it works with you. I mean, you interpret that how you would, but that's typically like what a corroded kind of amber glow would be.
Yeah, so the way I always read it is the more like the city folk have cleaner colors.
Yep.
And the barbarianish people have darker, dirtier colors.
Yeah.
And so yes, that was what I was going for with that is. And I think, again, I don't know where I'm from. So,
right. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're like completely corrupt. It's just there's this tinge of wild and unknown.
It's maybe not corrupt, but wild as opposed to corrupt.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm a wild child.
Hell yeah.
And So, and then the fungal growths instead of this beautiful golden amber coming down. Yeah. So.
Love it.
So good.
Love it. Okay. So the third wolf, just as you like raise your symbol, it starts to barrel through the snow, and the symbol hits it, and it trips, and it falls, and it tumbles into its brother in the snow, the ankle biter. And as they are blind for this next action of combat, it's 1 round, right, Patrick?
Correct.
1 round of blindness. They kind of whimper for a second, and one trips over the other, and they're a little bit confused. And we go to Eberl.
Dispatch them, brother. Coup de grace.
Yeah, so are there sort of 2 going after Yarrick and the one that was after me, or were they still?
Yeah. I mean, the 2 that were going after Yarrick are kind of tangled up in each other a little bit. Ankle biter and the one that stood alone are kind of tripping over each other a little bit. And the one by you is just like, it can't see, and it's just kind of like snarling at every little noise, right? And it backpedals a little bit, and it's just growling, and it's very hurt, and so it backpedals and it limps and it whimpers in pain.
I think what I would do then is I would sort of, if it's 2-on-1 on Yarrick, I would sort of leave that one behind me bleeding and dazed, and charge towards one of the 2, maybe the bigger one of the 2, approaching Yarrick, and just go at it.
Sure. All right. Same kind of roll.
All right. So
you're gonna do it from the whole shebang here.
Yeah. So let me give that a shot. It's a fencing sword. What modifier?
Your modifier was a net -1.
-1. That's a precise. Okay, it's normal. Advantage, no.
Oh, okay. Here you go. Let's do the real. Put -3 there, modifier.
Oh, right. -3.
Check on advantage.
So, would it be -3 when they're blinded?
Yeah. It's I
know. I'm throwing you a curveball right out the gate.
You already have advantage.
Right. Yeah, you can't get really double advantage.
Right. Yeah, leave it as is. I'll just see what happens.
Here we go. Roll with a 9. That's a success. My result margin is a 6.
All right, and you hit for 6 damage, which is you're gonna connect with for 4.
That's right. Okay.
Yarrick.
So Yarrick is going to draw a wickedly curved dagger out of his belt and just try and slit the throat of the closest one as it's blinded.
Okay. So with the wounded one?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's a -3.
Yes.
Boo. It seems, even blinded, it seems significantly bad.
As you lunge for, what goes wrong? How do you not?
Ooh, 14 to -7 result.
I think maybe I hadn't seen quite so much of that sickly green color coming in, because maybe I've just been using my tchotchkes, my fetishes. Just maybe this is the first time I'm actually using my symbolism to its full potential. So that's thrown me. So I'm trying to yank this dagger.
It's been some time since you've had to call upon this magic. As a matter of fact, it has been over 3 months.
Okay, so that throws me for a loop, and I'm like, I think I've got a good angle on this wounded dog thing.
Actually, Patrick, as you put your fetish away, you have a flashback. You find yourselves in Market Day with Sister Freed, and she ushers you through a small village, but it is the monthly Market Day, and it is crowded. And she notices as you nervously reach under your yurkin, and you start to pull out fetishes, and she snatches your wrist. She says, "No, not here. is not safe. And then we cut back to the mountain pass.
Gotcha. All right. So, yeah, I think that just throws me for a loop. So I just got a fucking loose grip on everything right now. So I like try and reach down, and this should be a fairly simple, like, okay, I'm just gonna like reach the dog and I just fucking whiff. Is just all it is the dog like pulls out of my grasp.
As you whiff, a silence comes over the mountain pass, and you hear footsteps crunch through the snow rapidly, and all of a sudden there's a gust of frigid, cold air, and snow whips up around all of you. And as you look over at Eberl, you look at the wolf that you left behind, wounded and, gravely wounded. Sister Fried appears behind the flurry of snow, and her scythe slits the throat of the wounded wolf. And she says, she basically makes herself as large as possible and just lets out this visceral grunt and just, "Be gone, you beasts!" And she just makes herself tall and scares them away. And as the dead body of the Jakar falls, the other two whimper in fear and kind of skedaddle, half blind still, half recovering. And she extends a hand to Yarick or Eberl, and she says something along the lines of, "Do not leave your foe, a wounded foe on the battlefield, to strike you when you have your back to it. Jakars are masters of deception."
And I'm like, if you are right, Sister Frieda, I apologize. I lost tactical awareness, and that my emotions of trying to help Yarick cloud machinations of the battlefield.
Brother Eberl, we have lost so much more. And as she says that, again, we return to Kloster Umberholt. And we meet, or we find ourselves in the sparring yard with one more. Gotta bring someone over. Master Andre. And Master Andre is kind of the weapons master and the blacksmith of Kloster. And you two are sparring as Andre circles, and he gives advice to each trainee. Of course, everyone is watching. Art, remind me of the douchebag's name.
His name is Renlo.
It's such a douchebag name.
I'm putting big letters in my OneNote here.
Chaz Grenlo.
Grenlo is Chaz. Is that what you said?
Chaz Grenlo the third, so we call him Trip.
Of course, all the new trainees are admiring.
Oh, Trip.
Grenlo, and Grenlo is just basically he essentially uses a large club and just smashes the training dummies. But Andre's not watching him. You can kind of see him, and you take a little pride in this, both of you. He is looking past Grenlo, and he watches. And Patrick, you go in with your curved knife, sparring against Eberl, and then it's a moment too late that you realized he has baited you, and he performs a masterful sword maneuver. And in a callback to Master Greenwald, Master Ringgold, he trips you, and then he pins you down with his warden fencing sword. Okay. And then he turns his back to you and leaves you there on the ground as he watches the other spar. Do you do anything?
So This is in the flashback of the flashback.
This is in the flashback, and he didn't. Or Eberl, you obviously didn't say anything hateful. Like, you just bested him, right? So what does Yarick do?
So this is okay. So I'm sorry, Eberl bested me.
Eberl bested you, yeah.
Yeah, I take a rock and pitch it at his head.
Nice. Right. So it dinks off his head, and we snap back to Sister Fried, and we're back in the mountain pass. And she says, come. There's a couple hours yet, and the sun will soon rise. And I would like to return to the Kloster before then.
I take some snow and rub it in my bleeding shins.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you got bit, sorry. And she wraps some furs, and she does help you with that wound. You can go ahead and recover a point of toughness there.
Nice. And then is this still the same scene, I would assume?
No, we're marching on.
Okay, so my temporary corruption goes away.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
You march on. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just mechanically, Art. So with the symbolism, my runes, I only take 1 point of temporary every time I use a symbol. Not when I make them, but when I use a symbol, I take temporary.
Nice.
But the trade-off with symbolism is the corruption seepage is a lot less potent, but it takes a fucking long time to recharge these things.
Oh, okay.
So it takes me an hour to recharge.
One use?
Yeah.
Is it one use across all of them? Or
no, every one of my symbols gets one use. And I have 3 symbol abilities. So I have carved and created 3 symbols.
Got it. So if you have 3 symbols and you use all 3 symbols, you recharge one of those an hour.
Yes, because I have to focus on each one to and it's focused time. I can't use it while we're walking. I can't be yes, hello, I'm going to. Yeah, so
it's
I have
not
to
a passive recharge. Okay.
No,
so you need
I have to
nice.
Yeah, I have to fucking sit down and be over the symbol to recharge it. So
you march on for an hour, and Sister Fried, you know you're drawing near. It is just around a pass, just over a hill. You know that when you crest the hill, you will see the sunrise, and you will set your eyes on Kloster Umberholt for the first time in months. Sister Fridos again mutters under her breath, Prios, his radiance has not shone upon us. Heaven knows we have been cast in his darkness for these last several months. And we fade back to Kloster Umberholt. And Andre is there again, but so is fire, and so is loud noises, and bodies, and men fighting, and there are men shouting and yelling, "To the ramparts! To the ramparts!" And the friar descends from the church steps, and he seems to be carrying a package as you two and Andre strike down at men in hoods and masks. You're not able to identify them, but all of a sudden you see the friar is struck down by a gang of 5 individuals, and he drops an item, and Andre turns and he looks and he says, the tome, you two, grab that tome and get it to Friar Wilhelm immediately. You'll find him.
Yeah, and I snatch it up.
Yarick, go with him. It's of the most importance. Go with him.
Okay. And I'm running, just full tilt, grabbing Eberl by the sleeve and let's go.
Grinlau with me, Andre shouts out, and Grinlau is there, and he's this masked hooded figure has fallen to the ground, and he is smashing his club into the back, and As you two run past Grinlau, he moves to Andre, and you just see a horde of individuals. And you make your way into the study. And the study is this big wooden outbuilding, but it is burning. And the room is thick with smoke, and you make your way to kind of the master's chambers, where you find Friar Wilhelm, and he's preparing a parcel. And he turns, and at first he's startled by both of you. Oh, heavens. Eberl, Yarick. What is it?
The friar. He's dead. He's been struck down.
The tome.
Yeah, and I extend, still half in shock, but I extend the tome.
Some windows shatter and burst as he takes the tome, and he wraps it in cloth, and he tucks it in the satchel, and he says, I'm just an old man. I will not make it past them. Quickly, follow me. As he walks down, you descend the steps, and you go past the main floor, and you go kind of into the cellar of this wooden building. And he says, and this whole time he's walking, he says, there's no way I will be able to go with you. You must go. You must immediately find Sister Frida. Sister Frida. And that's not a name you guys have ever heard. You're unfamiliar with the name. You must go. And he pushes from the cellar. There's like a like where some water, just kind of like a drainage spout, and there's like a just like a steel gate that kind of swings open. Through here, do not turn back, no matter what. You must find Sister Fried. And you hear more shattering glass, and a timber falls on the main floor, and part of the stairwell collapses, and it's burning. And he goes, you must go. If I make it out of here, I will find you. And for our order to survive, you must find Sister Frida.
I'm like, Brother Wilhelm, come with us. Look, please come with us. We can make it work. You won't slow us down.
I will only slow you down.
I die. And I'm like going. Like,
nice.
Bye.
Yeah, and I'm sort of looking at him, and as I'm stepping away, and then I realize I gotta go.
Just before you go, he traces the mark of Prios. Eberl, you are enough, and Prios shall bless you. Go.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say is as the camera pans to the burning dorms, is the figure that I carved for art like burning or melting in a windowsill somewhere. Like,
art, is it?
No.
You have your brothers, because you've talked about you were tracing it, right? Like you have your brothers on you. What do you do with the one that Yarick made you?
I have it, but it's not the one I pull out when because Yarick's here. But when I think about my family,
you need your inspiration.
Yeah. And when I go somewhere, exactly, when I go somewhere mentally, it's to memories of my brother.
Yeah. Nice. You make your way through this. It's not sewers. It's really just a drainage path, and maybe it leads to a fresh water source, or this is where fresh water flows through. But eventually, you're able to make your way around and through a small rock crevice as you see the walls, and you see men taking large clubs and hammers to the stone foundation of the church building. The fiery blaze lights the night sky, and now it is chilly. It is a fall. It is a very crisp night, perhaps October 31st, with a full moon. But you see, and you're able to distance yourselves, and you can see hundreds of men as they stand around and watch. There's no more. The fighting clamor comes to an end. You see no one other than the men standing in your cluster. And we cut back to the mountain pass. And you approach the crest of the hill that you know leads to Kloster Umberholt. And you catch the first glimmer of the morning sun, the first glimpse and warmth of Prios' blessing on this frigid, cold night. And for the first time since that night, you see the walls of Kloster Umberholt. And we will fade to black.
Damn.
Nice. Very nice.
Damn.
A couple of things. One, that was really well done, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm so
really
excited
well
for where
done.
we're going.
I'm sorry?
I'm very excited for where we're going.
Yeah, I'm not terribly interested, so this was a good one shot.
Can we get Delta Green finally?
Yeah, so that's where, I mean, this was a nice, I'm glad you entertained yourself with this, but if we can get serious for a minute. No, the other thing I want to say, and maybe my recollection is wrong, but what I've really enjoyed about the things that you've run, Matt, you've done as a group in the rotation, we really haven't gotten through that many games. And your games, this and Pathfinder, I think are the only ones where we ever run combat. Patrick and Scritch Scratch, did we ever do combat?
No.
And there has been no combat in
Spies.
the Cold War spy game. And so it's just because, growing up, it's like you kick ass, you go through all the combat mechanics. That's always the cool part of like a lot of the sessions when I was a kid. And we're just running these bitch story games.
These Art Nouveau games.
Yeah, except for yours, which are like well done stories, but they have like kind of action a lot of what you want in a role playing game is as.
I know wolves as your first combat are a trope, right? But I really wanted to get a combat under our belt.
Yeah.
And it just seems so perfect to bring in the Jakars. You're on a mountain path. It just seemed to fit, and I wanted a very story-driven, and maybe this first session was a little bit on rails. I don't really, I'm fine with things being on rails, but I wanted you guys to get character moments, but also I wanted certain mechanics, like even Patrick just making a quick test, just so we can see it and run it through the game and just see what happens.
The beauty of the combat was showcasing that, oh fuck, I don't need to be in combat. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Time to carve
it'll
some
be
more
interesting
symbols.
I've read some things about just balancing Symbaroum, and because what I've heard where it doesn't work is a one-on-one battle. If Art's paired off against Glenlau or Grinlau. And that's what I thought about was having this sparring session with Grinlau to start or something like that. But anyways, I didn't go there.
So yeah, this is tough. I mean, we've, I think I can speak for Patrick. We've been looking forward to this for a while.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And just sitting here, I'm just thinking of the things that I've thought about or talked about, this is way cooler of this kind of thing than Deus Vult is. And this is way cooler of a system than what I was potentially thinking about for the homebrew fantasy. And I'm just oh shit. Is Deus Vult dead? I just don't know.
That's the splash title for this.
Is Deus Vult is dead?
Yeah.
I will be curious. I want to keep a pulse on both of you of what you think of combat as we go on. Mm-hmm. Because with everything this is a very setting driven, this is very much like Genesis, right? It is very setting driven game and very creature and lore and aesthetic, and mechanically it is very simple.
Yeah.
Right.
And it
gets
takes
out of the way.
Combat out of my hands entirely, and a lot of even the defense, those are the things I was looking up. My defense and the combat numbers are fixed. Now I can probably roll a dice if I want to see what happens and shit like that, but so I'll be curious to just see how long that combat lasts for and to see if it's still good, because it is a very simplistic combat. I think it's going to require us, much like we talked about with the heavy lifting you have to do in Savage Lands with some things, we might just have to do some, I make my attack roll and that's it. We're going to have to beef it up, Yeah.
Yeah. And I confess, So I don't think I mentioned this when I was describing my character. I'm playing a witch hunter class. And when I started to get the faint abilities and powers, I was like thinking, oh, this is a lot like what I had in Pathfinder. I better min-max a little bit, which is when I came up with I went to the Advanced Player's Guide, found Sword Saint, and sort of pieced that together to make sure I could poke some eyes out in a pinch. So.
I'm very excited for both of your characters, Patrick. I haven't even looked at the rest of the abilities you can do. The fact that it's just a daisy chaining.
Oh,
like
all
you
of
get
them
blinded,
are like,
you get blinded,
no.
you get blinded.
All of them are like that.
Man. Oh shit!
Like
nice.
I didn't use. I'm not even going to say it on camera because it's going to be really cool. Now, the one thing with the Symbolist, and I'll have to ask this, is can I have more than one symbol with the same power? Because it takes, it only takes me an hour. In novice level, I have to spend an hour making a symbol. If I get to the next, I don't remember the names of what the other ones are. Adept and Master. Like if I get to Adept, I can just like write it on a piece of paper.
Nice.
And it works. And Master, I'm like fucking like Doctor Strange and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, the question will be, am I allowed to do like blinding symbol, like magic missile, like.
Well, I think you maybe need to come in prepared with them, right?
Yeah.
It takes you an hour to craft them.
As a novice, anything above that, it's as soon as I write it, I can use it.
Nice.
But you take that temporary, the trade-off, I guess, is I only take corruption when I use a symbol. So it's this balancing act of, do I push it and use a bunch of symbols out of the gate, or do I not? And there's not that many symbolist powers, so we'll have to probably talk.
You might have to, yeah, or we can tweak, yeah.
Right, we might have to talk offline and be like, hey, can I use some of the other ones?
Well, you can definitely go down other magic paths. But you have to get the skills.
Right. So, it's
Matt, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, of course.
You've been thinking about this for a while. You're doing some prep. This has been something that's it's been that itch for a little while. How does it feel to be finally doing it?
Yeah, it feels really good. I think it's the setting that I'm most excited about. Anytime you see how the sausage is made, it loses a little bit of its luster. But again, we've also played the perfect system for me ever, which is Pathfinder. So it's cool. It does make me immediately, of course, want to make 10 characters and play it.
Of course.
But I think
as is tradition.
As is tradition. And that's the thick of the book, right? Even if you're looking at the Game Master's Guide and stuff, it's a lot of fluff. And it's not a lot of mechanical of how to balance scenarios or anything like that. And the core rulebook and the Advanced Player's Guide, all of that stuff is just, not all of it, but a good chunk of it is abilities and rituals and more things on that. And so when you get to use those things, that's really cool. As the GM, you don't really get to use those things. Now, there's some creatures we're gonna fucking see, and a fucking moose is in the fucking codex, so the game automatically wins. So yeah, right now I'm still super horned up on it. I love the idea of this story, because then I want to bring in the domain rules, and there's fucking pitched battle rules and shit. It's
good stuff.
Sounds like we're gonna be Cruton. We're gonna be out there on the Cruton trail.
That's to a little spoiler a bit, that's kind of where I want to take it is and so where I think we'll pick up next time is there's a story arc, but there's also this possibility for you guys to build the domain of the Kloster in your image and make it something so
nice.
It's a little Romulus and Remus situation.
a little bit and sister and Rebecca.
She doesn't count. We're gonna murder her in her sleep or something. I will be suckling at the teat of the wolf. It's going to be welcome to the great city of Ream, not.
Reminders for next time. We need to talk about Art's. I want to expose, if he's okay with it, Art's shadow for the first time, even though it's not something Patrick sees.
Sure.
I want to expose that.
Mm-hmm.
Art, I know obviously at some point it would be great if we can find out what happens with your brother, or even maybe just get hints about that. But for Patrick and Art both, is there anything that you want to see next session, or anything you want to kind of start down next session? Again, there are things in play, but it's also a little sandboxy from here on out. It's not sandbox, but it's got some, like, you're going to have some options, right?
I wouldn't, I mean, for me, finding out a little more of the lore behind who attacked the Kloster.
We'll get there.
That's, things, whatever takes me deeper into the setting, I'm here for, so.
I mean, we need to find out what happened to the Codex, like.
Oh, right, because it didn't come up in our discussions. We ran away with the...
We did not take it with us.
Yeah.
So...
Somehow we don't have it at the moment.
And I need to recharge my batteries. Like,
yes.
That's because, again, the simplest powers are just so good. And all of them are fucking splash damage galore.
Dude, I love that. I love when you find someone with abilities that... It's like me with the fucking Kineticist and Pathfinder.
Yeah.
It's just like everything that they offered is like, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome.
And they get pretty dark. There's some...
Symbolist does?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, there's some... The other one that I took, oh, yeah. It's...
I guess can't wait to see that thing.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I was hoping that you were going to be like, and you're going to fight 100 dudes. I'm like, all right, let's go fight a fucking 100 dudes.
I should have given you a chance to, like, fight in that giant-ass battle. But, yeah.
Oh.
The Kloster might still be standing.
You're right.
Shit.
Okay, so...
Retcon.
All right, you wake up the next morning and you're gathering firewood.
Yes, I've decided to go Dr. Manhattan on them.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man!
This was my level 1 power nuclear explosion.
Oh, this is Scarlet Witch shit.
This was
when
awesome.
She whispers, "No more X-Men."
No more X-Men.
Good. I'm hoping. I think you guys liked it. I had a blast running it. And I loved just building up to tonight, not the delay in building up into tonight, but like when we had the 0 session and you guys built this really cool Kloster, I already knew, like I knew the plot, and I was like, they're building this up and I am session 1, I'm tearing it the fuck down. And I couldn't wait. Now, that does not mean we're not going to see some of those characters.
We're going to rebuild. Build bigger, better. Like it's gonna be great. We're gonna make the close. Never mind. I'm not even gonna go there.
I love it. All right, folks. This has been Black Lodge Trivia Night. Finally, we have some Symbaroum for your ears. Hope the build was worth it. If you're listening to this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, do all that stuff. Of course, we have a podcast version if you're checking that out. Any of those things, 5-star reviews wherever you're at. All those things. We like it. We appreciate it. The most important thing for us is coming out in our Discord. You can talk to us. Talk to us about the Symbaroum game. I would love to hear any input is like fair game. So like if you have some tips or some things that you want to see in our Symbaroum game, like really it's the great thing about Davokar is how open it is and how much room and potential for adventure there is.
And we got some thoughts from the Discord. Yeah. So thank you.
Yes. So keep them coming. It's good stuff. So, all right. Anything else, fellas?
No, not at all. This is great.
It was good. 99 boys. It was a good time.
Thanks for playing, fellas. We'll be back.
Take it easy.